action will begin right after the meditation.
Yes. So we will start with meditation, few minutes of meditation, and then it's a pleasure to talk to a great sportsman from the other part of the world in Canada, where you are all there now. So we will first Canada and US both, right? US and Canada. Lovely, lovely. And so we'll begin with meditation, and then I'll ask Pooja to introduce everyone, and we will have some, I think we'll have good time. What do you think? Yeah?
I'm looking forward.
Yes,
We're excited.
lovely, lovely.
It's an honor to be with you. It's
So
an honor.
for those who are doing meditation for the first time, I would like to give a little instructions or caution that meditation is not concentration. It is nothing that you do with effort. It's something that you do that happens to you when you relax. You know, the art of relaxation, deep relaxation with wakefulness is what you can call as meditation. Mind is kept alive, but the body is relaxed, and you start experiencing that our body is inside the mind, not the other way around. Often people think our mind is inside the body. Now, meditation gives us this realization that our body is like a wick of a candle and the mind is like the glow all around it. So let's begin with shaking our hands a little bit. When you shake our hands, some restlessness will go away. We shake both hands and keep our spine erect and continue shaking our hands. And keep our spine erect. And we can stretch our neck side to side to just feel that good stretch in our neck. And let us close our eyes with our spine erect and body relaxed. Relax your shoulders. Let us pay attention to our whole body. Let us recollect our age, whatever it is, 30 years, 20 years, 30, 40, 50, 65. That many years ago we came into this planet. While this planet has always been there, just recollect your own age and remember, in the time graph, so many years have passed since we are here. We came into this world weighing just 5 kilos or 8 pounds. And today we weigh 200 pounds or 150 pounds, whatever that is. Our body has billions and trillions of cells, and they keep changing all the time. Let's keep our attention on our body 100%. Let's take our attention to each and every part of the body and focus there and move on. Let's take our attention to our right leg, right leg, a little more attention on the calf muscle, the feet, toes, heel. Just take your mind deep into your leg. Move, let's scan our whole leg. Take our attention to our knees and thighs and hip. All our attention on the right leg. Now let's shift our attention to the left foot, left ankle, left toes, toes on the left foot. Let's imagine our mind is really moving deep into this part of our body. Left kneecap, left thigh, left hip, now let's keep our attention in the middle part of the body, the thorax part, reproductive system, abdomen, digestive system, stomach, liver, pancreas, and all that. Then diaphragm. And know the movement in the diaphragm. With every in-breath and out-breath, our diaphragm is moving rhythmically. Let's pay attention to the rhythmic movement of the diaphragm. And now let's take our attention to the chest, to our lungs. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Let's take 5 such long deep breaths and breathe out slowly. Let's come to our shoulders and arms. Relax our arms and shoulders. Now let us take our attention to our throat and neck. And take a deep breath in and let go. Let's keep a big smile on our face and breathe in with the smile and breathe out with a smile. As we smile, all the muscles in our face go into relaxation. Let's take our attention to the top of the head. Our body is the precious gift to us from nature. Let us honor our own body. We are committed to our body and its well-being. Let's acknowledge this fact. And we are committed to everyone else's well-being as well. That makes us human. Let's take a deep breath in and let go. Let's project our mind to the future. Another 20, 30, 40, 50 years we will be on this planet. And we'll keep doing all that we wanted to do, like we did in the past. And then there comes the end. But this planet will continue. Now let's take another deep breath in, and as we breathe out, let us honor our breath. It's this breath that is keeping us alive. Let us welcome the incoming breath like you would do to a dear friend, and see off the outgoing breath like we would do to an honored guest. Breathe in, welcoming the breath, and as you breathe out, see off the outgoing breath. Body is our first dimension, breath is our second. Incoming breath energizes the body, while outgoing breath brings us a sense of relaxation. And this is happening all the time. Let's pay attention to this fact in our life. As you breathe in, every cell gets oxygen, every cell gets energy. And as you breathe out, there is absolute relaxation. Continue with long, deep breaths to energize the body and mind complex and to bring deep relaxation. Like fish in the water, we are in air. Let us become aware of the air all around us and inside of us. In fact, our life is in air. Let's become aware of the vast ocean of air that we are all in. Now let us move on to the third dimension, our mind. Our body is like the wick of a candle, and our mind is like the glow all around it. Whatever thoughts are coming in the mind, just let them come. With eyes closed, you may mentally feel the walls of the room and become aware of the volume or the dimension of your own room. As though our mind is touching the walls on all the sides. Another deep breath in and let go. Now let us become aware of the roof of the room that we are in. Whatever is the sensation now we are experiencing, let it be. Let all those sensations be. Neither we try to get rid of them, nor hold on to them. Any discomfort or twitches here and there, we just allow it to be there. Let it be. Wherever the mind wants to go, just let it go. We will not control the mind or do anything for that matter. Just let it be. Any tension anywhere, just let it be. All good and bad thoughts, let them come and go on their own. This moment, we're neither looking for an experience, nor are we averse to any. This moment, there is nothing to do and nothing to know either. Just repose in the silence. Let us just repose in the emptiness. Let us become aware of the space beyond our room, beyond our building, the vast space. Now relax and let go of all your efforts. The moment we let go, everything starts blossoming. Our body and mind finds deep relaxation. They start smiling and blossoming. Just let go and let be. And let our mind start smiling. May all the people in the world be happy. May there be harmony in every heart and mind. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May there be peace in the hearts and minds. May there be peace in the society and among the nations. May there be peace among the elements and in the nature. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Let us become aware of our body and surroundings. And let's breathe in with a smile and breathe out with a smile. And let the smile on our face percolate to the back of our head. Let's just imagine the back of head is also smiling, as though every cell in the back of our head is smiling. And slowly let the smile descend to our throat and neck, our chest and our shoulders. And slowly, as though your whole body is smiling. Now let's take a deep breath in. And as we breathe out, we may gently open our eyes. Was it good? Was it good?
So
It is
good. Thank you.
perfect. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
So peaceful.
You know, we meditated about 27 minutes, 28 minutes.
It was
20.
fast.
Yeah. Over to Pooja.
Welcome everyone to this dialogue. Sorry?
You may want to introduce our celebrities, our
Let's go there.
talented, honored guest today. Yeah.
Yes. Welcome everyone today to this dialogue titled Agility in Body and Mind between some of Canada's sports champions and Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. Sports has the power to unite the world in many ways, cutting across language, culture, and religion. And in this sense, sports and spirituality seem to have a common goal. And this is why this conversation is so relevant today. Gurudev, when I was speaking to this esteemed panel yesterday, I said to them that maybe I should get someone else to moderate this session, since sports and I are as distant as perhaps India and Canada are. But then I thought that there's definitely one game that I think I'm doing exceedingly well at, and that is the game of life, only because I'm being guided by and learning from the best coach ever. So Gurudev, thank you for all your wisdom, your practices, and presence. And this is why it gives me so much joy today to introduce some of the best at sports to someone that's the best at life. Our first panelist for today is Mr. Bruni Surin. Bruni ranked 7th fastest sprinter of all time in the 100-meter race. He has also won the gold for Canada at the Olympics in '96. Bruni is a member of the Canadian Olympic and Canadian Sports Hall of Fame, and now through the Bruni Surin Foundation offers coaching and financial support to student athletes to pursue their journey. He has already distributed over 1.5 million in various programs through this initiative. Bruni is a sought-after motivational speaker and a successful business coach for some leading names in Canada. Bruni, please go ahead and ask your questions to Gurudev.
Thank you, Pooja, for the introduction. Thank you, Gurudev, for this great session. We feel very good. Now, in this this pandemic is catastrophic, and nobody expected that it was going to be that long. I'm a kind of guy who always positive, and we try to encourage our community to stay positive. But now it's been going for 2 months. Now a lot of people are discouraged because we don't even know when this pandemic is gonna end, and how what would be the best way to cope with that, and how ourselves we can encourage people to always stay positive in this situation.
Yeah, this is the time that we need to keep up our sportive spirit, right? It's very, very important. People are locked down in their homes. They're unable to go out and play sports. They're unable to gather for cultural programs, events, even for religious ceremony. It's tough time, I know. And at this time, it's very, very important to keep the spirits high. And that's one of the reasons we are all now discussing and talking. So I'm sure that we will be, as human race, we will be able to overcome this pandemic. This is nothing short of World War III, as I would say, because the entire world is shut down.
Yeah.
Lockdown. All travels are finished now, actually. No doubt this fear will be there in minds of people for some more time, but definitely a human system is such that we are very resilient. Either we will get so strong that the virus doesn't do anything to us, or we will find a vaccine, we'll find some medicines. So this temporary phase that we are facing now is what is very important for reassurance in the survival of our society and our race to people, that we should keep giving it to them. Yeah.
Okay. And now when
And being stress-free at this time, and use this opportunity to do something creative at home. Learn more languages. Many people in Canada, they don't know French. This is the time perhaps they can all have French lessons or Spanish lesson or some other lessons, and then time to learn music, time to learn cooking, and time to learn languages. Many, many things we can do. Utilize this time with some yoga, meditation, self-assurance to ourselves that all will be well. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much for the advice, and that's what I'm doing also, learning to cook. and also even in the meditation, you were talking about smiling. I'm a kind of guy, I always say to people, try to smile, laugh every day. But now at the same time, it's kind of difficult sometimes to say to people, laugh, and because there's a lot of people, there have people, a family who are sick and everything. How can we get that smile back?
Yes, it is very tough when your family is sick, but at that time, sitting and crying is not going to help either. When a family are sick, that is when you need inner strength. If you can't, you don't need to smile, but you find the inner strength, that inner strength and solace. Your calmness inside of you will help your family members also to become calm. I often say a weak body can be carried along by a strong mind. But if the mind is weak, it cannot carry along even a strong body. So our inner strength, mental strength is most important at these moments of pandemic, and especially a near and dear one is sick. This is the time that we need to keep the hope alive.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gurdeep. Our next panelist is Mr. Georges Larac. Georges played 13 seasons for different National Hockey League teams. He was known as the Rock, acting primarily as an enforcer on these teams. His best-selling biography, The Story of the NHL's Unlikeliest Tough Guy, goes well beyond the stereotype of the tough guy. It is the story of a true humanitarian on a global stage. Today, he is involved in many charities and is dearly remembered for his work in the Haitian relief and rebuilding of the Grace Children's Hospital in Port-au-Prince. While staying a conscientious environmentalist, a vegan, and a spokesperson for PETA, George is a public speaker that captivates and inspires by addressing current topics such as sports, motivation, racism, bullying, veganism, politics, and charities. George, over to you.
Lovely.
Gurudev,
Wonderful. Wonderful to have you.
Gurudev, it's an honor and a blessing to be with you today. Thank you very much for your kind word. I'm honored to be with you today. Honored. I have 3 questions and that I need your guidance for. The first one, I'm recovering right now after being diagnosed with COVID-19. And does meditation help with any kind of disease?
Yeah, today the doctors also don't know what is this virus, what is this disease, and how to counter this. The only thing everybody now agree is, well, we need to boost our immune system. And as you know, eating well, eating good, even vegan food has proved to be very good in boosting the immune system of ours. Well, we have many systems like circulatory system, the electrical system in the body, and and respiratory system, and like that. So it seems that what you are promoting anyway, veganism and positive mindset, will all contribute to have a better immune system. And that's what we can hope now, till a vaccine or proper medicines are being found by our scientists. I'm sure they'll do it.
Yeah. Well, I always try to promote veganism because of that. So thank you very much for your answer. Another one with sport. How can spirituality, meditation in a world of sport can cohabit together, knowing that competition ignites our ego?
See, meditation, spirituality gives you inner strength. To do anything, you need strength, inner strength, especially the moments of anxiousness. That comes to everyone. Even sportsman faces it very often if he had to play a big game at some time and he gets very anxious. And the anxiousness really has a bad impact on our muscular system. Since our adrenal glands is very active, it tires you very fast and then it stresses you down. And stress hormones or cortisols will they do get generated in you. So meditation helps to calm that down, number one. Second is meditation gives you mindfulness. It keeps your alertness, your mind very sharp. So you are very alert, not thinking about the past or future. You are in the present moment. So totally. So for any sportsman, this is very, very essential. You know, in the Orient, like in Japan, every sportsman first taught mindfulness to be more alert before they even begin sports. Same thing in India also. Yoga is also part of the curriculum. When people do yoga, breathing exercise, they are more mindful and they're more cheerful. You know, a player must be cheerful. I feel if a player is not cheerful, is a long face, and anxious and worried about his winning or losing, it's not much fun in watching them, right?
Yeah. My last question, Gurudev, thank you very much for the answer. What would be a single exercise to apply for life to remain consistent with a pure whole person while being successful, thriving as an athlete or as a human being? One single exercise.
Well, why should we have only one exercise? You know, we have 5 senses, we may need 5 exercises because they're all different, right? I would say, if you insist on one, I would say compassion. In life and as also sportsman, compassion, number one. Second, commitment. Commitment in life. to whichever field we take, sports, politics, economics, social work, commitment takes us higher, right? And so it stops us from being a rolling stone. One day you do this, another day you do that. Third is from thinking what I would get to what I can give. I can limit to three. What I can get to how I can be helpful, how I can contribute. When it comes to sports, I would say one more thing, that every sport should be considered like a play, like a game. Today's sports are played like wars, and wars are played like sports. So we should. I once asked a boy who used to win all the time in sports. He lost to one of his colleagues, his friends. He was so upset, and I asked him his question. Why are you so upset? He said, because I lost. I told him, look, you lost, but who won? He said, that guy won. I said, is he your friend? He said, yes. So you are unhappy over your friend winning. It suddenly struck him. He said, no, but why are you upset? I asked him a question. See, you have been winning. How do you like if your friends have a long face and they're upset about you are winning because they lost it? He said, I don't like it. I would like them to participate in my winning. It's just that little attention. So then why are you not celebrating your friend's victory? From your heart, you go join, congratulate your friend. After all, this is sports. When this attitude in us changes, towards the better, towards celebrating in everybody's joy. So I said in games, there are only two positions. One is either you win or you make others win. There is no loss in it.
Thank you, Gurudev. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you very much.
Lovely.
Gurudev, I had also mentioned to our panel about our anti-doping initiatives with the World Forum for Ethics in Sports held at the FIFA headquarters. And perhaps this could be something that the panel could very effectively be part of or recreate in Canada with the various sports associations here as well.
Right.
I'd like to introduce our third panelist for today, Mr. Jean Pascal. Jean has been the world boxing light heavyweight champion for 3 consecutive years. He has represented Canada at the Olympics and has also won the gold medal at the Commonwealth Games. After taking a short sabbatical, he is known to have one of the most memorable comebacks of all times and credits a lot of that success to the power of the mind. Jean, please go ahead and ask your questions.
Hey, Jean, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Gurudev. It's a big honor to be with you right now. Me, I have a personal question for you. I know we're living a big crisis right now, but I would love to know how I can find my true path after my boxing career.
Can you repeat the question, please?
I said, how can I find my true path after my boxing career? My way.
Yeah. You want to do something to the world, right? You want to do something to young people. There are a lot of young people who are into doping, who are into drugs, who are into many things that are not so healthy for themselves. Today our youth is struggling between two extremities. On one side, there are youth who are very aggressive and they don't know what they're aggressive for, right? Their aggression, but not as a sport, not for boxing, but inside of them there is lot of sadness, right? If a boxer had sadness, he cannot box very well. He has to come with valor rather than sadness. But we find a lot of youth on one side, they are into depression, or on another side, they are into an aggression. we need to help them to come out of both this. And in this field, I think you can do a lot. There are a lot of youth who look forward to you for something in life, what they don't know what they're looking for. So first of all, they need inner peace. They need serenity. They need happiness inside. If a person is happy inside and he spreads happiness, if a person feels insecure, discriminated, angry, depressed inside, and that's what he shares with people around him. So maybe we can all together dream of a world which is free from violence, which is free from stress, which is free from misery. And in this direction, if we work, maybe we can help hundreds and thousands of youths out there who are really uh, grappling with these issues in their life.
Thank you very much. My second question is going in the same direction. I would love to know what will be the perfect world for you.
What is the what?
What will be the perfect world for you? A perfect world.
Perfect world. I accept the world as it is. The world is perfect in its sense. Because whatever nature has come up with, God has done everything perfect. But He has kept some work for us to do also. So those work we need to do. For me, I dream of a society which is free from violence, which is free from man-made misery. I've looked at a world which is environmentally sustainable and taken care of. And this is the century that we all have to do for that, where we protect the environment, we have healthy habits, and we see that the children, the future generation, gets a better society, a more happier society than what we have inherited. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your answer.
Wonderful.
Our next panelist for today is Mr. Scott Davis. Scott is a figure skating Olympian and former US champion. He has led the US Hall of Fame figure skating class and is now passionate about coaching international medalists and world and Olympic figure skaters. In fact, he and his lovely wife, Stephanie, have consistently been introducing the art of living breathwork and meditation programs to the professional athletes and students that they train, with the vision of making their training truly well-rounded. Scott, over to you.
How are you, Scott?
I'm good, Gurudev. How are you? Thank you for your time, for sure. I've got a couple of questions. The first one, we as athletes, we train our bodies. We spend hours and hours in the skating rink or on the running track, in the boxing ring, and we learn how to really work our bodies really well. And I feel on a smaller scale, we take into account our minds. We're lucky because we have the art of living and we can use those tools as well. But your advice for young athletes and coaches that are just starting out in this journey?
Yeah, when you have these tools, I mean, that tools themselves will help you a lot to keep the presence of mind, to keep your both body and mind healthy. Yeah. So, but this is the time that, how is it now in Canada? Is the sports open or still in the lockdown?
They're still in the lockdown, so it's a bit difficult for sure.
That could be a little frustrating for young people, not able to run around and play, right?
Yeah, and that leads into my second question, which is during this time when they're not able to train, especially the Olympics were just postponed, what advice do you have for those athletes that are kind of in limbo these days? What do you say for their anxiety and their uncertainty?
See, we must remember this is a warlike situation. Nobody goes to sports when there is a warlike situation. The entire human race is fighting against an unseen enemy. So we all need to cooperate, and it's very essential. It's just a matter of few months. So they can do many other things, they can learn music, they can learn cooking, many other talents they can do. But we can tell them, see, sports is not only physical, it's the mindset also. If you're sportive in your mind, you can play many indoor games. You can do things, what you can always find your way to do your things, right? That to Canada, especially a huge land, and I think travel is not so restricted in Canada as it is in many major cities. So we just simply have to accept the hard reality today. It is not wise to go out and mingle and play sports with a big group of people, and we need to wait for this pandemic to subside, and it will happen. It will happen. Meanwhile, they can learn yoga, they can compete in yoga online, they can do gymnastics online, and like virtual meditations we are doing now on the Skype, on in the Zoom. Then we can even have some Zoom lessons. What do you think? What do you think, Scott? Hello?
Scott, can you hear us?
Scott, are you there? Something happened with the connection, maybe. Huh?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we just lost a little bit. Yeah, now I can hear you. What do you
Okay,
think?
great. Yeah,
What-
no, that's all
We can
all
do
great.
something.
Yeah, definitely lots to think time for sure. Thank you very much.
Scott, we could not hear you. Can you repeat what you said? You're getting disconnected.
Oh, I just said yes. Very good advice and efforts.
Yeah.
Very good advice. Thank you, Scott. George, did you have another question that you wanted to ask? You mute.
Actually, I do have a question, and I'm very curious to know your thought about this, Gurudev. We've heard many times that if meditation was introduced to children at the age of 8 years old, there would not be war in this world. Do you agree with this statement?
Yeah, we can introduce them at 8. 8 is a good year to introduce. Yeah, we all learned at that age only. Huh? Yeah, when we introduce them at 8-year-old, and they know how to communicate skillfully. All wars are happen, or any conflict arises. First is communication breaks down, lack of understanding and insecurity, fear of insecurity. These are the things that causes conflicts. So children, when they start meditating, I wouldn't say that all the conflicts will be stopped for all the time, but it can be reduced to a great extent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, George. John, did you have one last question?
I was curious about, like, at what age did you decided to dedicate your life to spirituality, and why?
It's similar to you, you enjoy sports from a very young age, you took to sports. Like that, something in me told me I had to take this, and I always felt that there is something I need to do to bring inner peace to everybody, happiness to everyone.
But
My
you don't.
passion was to put a smile on everybody's face. Yeah.
Okay. But at what age did you decided to do that?
For me, I think by my teenage itself, I started. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Gurudev, Bruni Surin has met with you twice in Canada in 2018 and 2019, along with his
I know.
wife. We're hoping that very soon the rest of the panel will have similar opportunities to meet with you in person. Gurudev, any last advice for the panel before we end for today?
No, I'm so happy to be with you all and sharing your thoughts and, being part of this panel discussion on agility in body and mind. And it's a time we all, as a team, get more and more people in the arena of sports and, have people participate in uplifting the human spirit, human enthusiasm, and harmony in society at this time. We need to keep the waves of happiness even at this crucial time in the human history.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
All
you.
the best to every one of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All the
Thank
best.
you.
Much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
What?